the mini-map, he definitely knows that that is underway. It looks like, well, he's sending some Zerglings back, alright, so he's going to be maybe okay. But of course, you need like a ton of Zerglings or something. Otherwise, those Marines are never going to die because that medevac is just going to keep healing them. But anyways, the Banelings are finished now, and the bunker is about to finish as well. So I believe Terran's probably going to be just fine in this. Because basically, you want to follow this up with a ton of Zerglings or something. You know, once you bust in here, you could bust down this reactor and this tech lab and this bunker all at the same time, but he doesn't have anything to really go in there afterwards. He has a couple of roaches, that's not going to be enough. But meanwhile, there is a drop back here. The Hellion does get picked off first. He was in the front. Kind of a blunder there by Terran, but not a huge one. And well, there's a spine crawler going up as well, and that medevac just escaping with 6 hit points, a couple of Marines as well. So yeah, when you do a drop, it's kind of hard, especially as Terran, because you want to keep loading up and dropping and loading up and dropping. And not, you know, the less guys you lose, the better, of course. And you want to get out of there before losing even one guy. That is the best you want to do. Of course, if you could pick off like 10 Zerglings and just lose like one, you know, to sacrifice one Marine, that's not the bad either. But, well, Zerg's busted in here. Looks like Zerglings did join the party as well. Baneling's even going up to the SVs. I would have thought that Terran would have been able to pick off a couple more of those Banelings before they actually exploded on the buildings there, but I guess not. Zerg just busted in here with all these guys, and now Zerg really could be adding on a ton of Zerglings. Looks like he's adding on, using this time to drone up. Using, you know, he's saying, okay, if I lose this, no big deal, I'll just drone and be perfectly fine for the late game. You know, playing it very safe, but in this situation, it's kind of like, okay, really could just bust in there and kill him. So, I mean, in most situations, your opponent is probably going to, you know, definitely by the 12-minute mark, he's going to have a command center at higher levels. You know, maybe even 2 more command, you know, 3 command centers altogether. So, I mean, if you bust in there and you do some okay damage and then decide to drone instead of just going there and kill him, he could easily just rebuild everything and be perfectly fine and still ahead of you. So it is kind of it's really something. You really got to be careful with what you do there. Alright, so it looks like it's Mikey playing his Terran against Horrible, who is indeed random, so he is random. Mikey's spawning at the 6 o'clock position here as our green Terran player, and my room's getting really dark, so I'm going to turn on this light. My stomach's getting really hungry, so I might just look for a snack really quick. I don't want to go to the grocery store right now because it might just be too crowded. I know I want to wait till like 9 o'clock, then be good. Alright, water's going to have to suffice for now. And, well, let's just... Okay, apparently I'm not going to bet. Alright, well, already gave Mikey his introduction, so we have Mr. Horrible spawning as Zerg once again at the 3 o'clock position as our dark green Zerg player. Now this is the close positions. Now, of course, 2 racks play is going to be very strong as Terran. In these positions, I mean, your Marines just get there and you can put up a bunker in a very good amount of time. You know, if it was cross map, then your Marines are going to take forever to get there. It's not going to work quite as well unless you get the barracks like super fast or something. I don't know. So we'll see what he does. Probably going to be 2 barracks play. That's what I'd like to see anyway. I don't know how good he is, but we'll see what happens. And then for Zerg, I'd say even if he does do a 2 barracks play, you still want to go hatch first against Terran. I mean, I feel like that's safer than going pool first, honestly, because you could just put on a bunker at the bottom here. Now, of course, the spines could push out against that bunker, but the bunker is at a very good placement, like back here. It's going to be very hard for anything to go in and out of that. Spaghetti leaves? What? Well, so, I'm glad he's going hatchery first. Generally in these positions, though, I know I like to do an early scout to determine it. But in these positions, I like to do a 13 hatchery, 15 pool. Just get up the hatchery a little bit earlier. Otherwise, I usually go 14 hatchery, 16 pool. And with just that timing, so you crank out 3 extra drones in between, you're able to get the spawning pool and the hatchery finished at the exact same time, get out 2 queens, and that's going to be, you know, good. Now, of course, you do want either an overlord or a drone coming out at some point just to scout for any kind of 2 barracks play. Of course, if you're in his base, you don't see 2 barracks, you don't have to worry about it. But looks like Mikey here is going to be going for that 2 barracks play. He does have 2 supply depots as a wall, and the second barracks is just behind it. So it's going to be alright. He's probably going to be adding on, well, it looks like Horrible having some drones out here, just to scout for that bunker. I'm not sure if he's listening to the stream or not, but well, if Mikey goes in there now, then this he's definitely late at this point. But if he still goes in there, he could still potentially do some damage. But since Zerg already has so many drones out, he's a pool finished. He's A on a queen. He's going to be just fine. He's even adding on a spine crawler just in case. So I mean, there's really nothing that Mikey can do at this point. I mean, Horrible could just crank out some Zerglings at the last minute if he saw the push come out of his base. So of course you do want like a Zergling out there or something. Of course now there is that timing where you just crank out a ton of Marines and attack at like the 5 minute or 5:30 or maybe even 6 minute time. And all in with your SVs and whatnot. Or maybe you want to put on a command center, I'm not really sure. But there is that timing because Zerg right now is feeling like, okay, I can it didn't attack, so I can drone, and drone. And that's what you want to be thinking as Zerg. Drone as much as humanly possible, and then when you see find a weakness on your opponent, then you just go in there and kill him. You just build nothing but guys and go in there and kill him. That, to me, is the best way to play Zerg. Now, of course, you do need certain techs and whatnot, a certain amount of units out at all times. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to build up enough when something happens. So, whenever your opponent pushes out or has like a Banshee or something like that. So you do have to worry about that. But once you got all that figured out, then I mean, you want to drone as much as humanly possible. Get down the timings for when Banshee shows up, for when Void Ray shows up. Know when to put down some spines, know when to send an Overlord to scout and all that good stuff. So anyways, Mike here, he does have 2 refineries now. He's going to be adding on some more reactors here, apparently. I'm just going to bet on Horrible. He looks like he's playing pretty well today. Or at least this game. Alright, so there's a factory going down now, super late. You could have gotten that 100 gas earlier, but, well, it's going down now, so no big deal. It's going to be just fine. Looks like he is ahead on the worker count, which is surprising to me since Zerg hasn't really attacked. Hasn't really done much. He just built, he did build a couple of extra Zerglings here, just in case, seeing that 2 barracks, but, I'd say he's super behind at this point because I know for a fact that Mikey is not on his game either. He's definitely behind as well, so I mean, there's no reason why he should have the same amount is all. So, there is that. So Marine walks into a bar and says, "Where's the counter?" And oh, it's just supposed to be like he walks into a... Okay, that wasn't even... I hate that kind of joke. I used to like that joke where it's like, guy walks into a bar. Ouch. It's like, okay, great. It's just... To me, it's one of those jokes. Anyways, Zerg does have some banelings here. Just in case that attack does happen. But looks like Terran's just going to bide his time, get up as far ports, engineering bay, some tanks and all that good stuff. So Zerg, he's gotten a little bit higher on his drone count, which is good. Terran really could be expanding right now. But, once you build up all these different buildings, it's like, okay, you can't really expand anymore. You have to go all in. And if you don't go all in, then you're going to be super behind. Super behind. I mean, he already pretty much lost the window for when he should be attacking with an all-in. And if you miss the window, then it's like, okay, your opponent has more economy than you and more units than you because of the hatchery and whatnot. So, I mean, it's not like his opponent's going all in, but Terran is. He needs to have a command center. If you don't have a command center by X time and you have so many production buildings, it's like, okay, you're just going to lose because you're not going to have enough guys to really kill Zerg. Unless Zerg makes a big mistake and just doesn't build enough guys to defend. And if you don't see the command center, it's like, okay, he's going all in, I need to make units. Durr. He's get out some units instead of drones. So, Horrible here is actually doing a very good job of that. So, this, for him, if he's listening to the stream, this is actually probably more like coaching. It's like, okay, what can I do with Zerg? What's a good Zerg thing? Like, why should I do this? Why shouldn't I do this? Bandit's just kind of exploding on these 2 siege tanks. So, kind of a blunder there. You gotta maybe want to send in the Zergling first, especially after you scout a factory. Because he probably has tanks, especially by this time. It's 10 minutes in, you didn't see an attack. He's probably going some kind of tech play with tanks. So I mean, you want to send one guy in, see if he dies. Don't want to send in a bunch of bandits and just, die, because that was just really bad. That sucks. Absolutely sucks. So anyways, layer is